Black Talk. This is Volume 1, Episode 2, and the title of this episode is Black College Vibes. My name is Alana Washington, also known as Alana Lovely, and I am one of your lovely co-hosts.
My name is Gabriel Bright. I'm a freshman at KU. Love to be here. Hope you guys have a good time listening to us.
It's your boy Josh Wakes. I'm a senior at the university, and I'm looking to give you another good show tonight.
Hi, I'm Jada. I'm a junior, and I just transferred from Hampton University.
And Jada is here today because we will be talking about HBCUs, and she's from Hampton, like she just said. So first, we're going to get into cultural news. The first thing that we're going to talk about is KU football. I guess really the only news is that they winning recently.
Yeah, that's real good news, finally.
Yes, great news. They're currently 2-2, and they just recently lost against West Virginia, but it was only 29-24, so like
close game.
That's crazy.
Big progress.
Exactly. When I was editing the Kansan a few days ago, one of the players were saying that they're really trying to show that they're a major team, so I'm really proud of them for that. Does anyone else have anything to say about, football?
Yeah, Les Miles is really trying to turn the program around. That's really good to see. I know when I was a little kid back in, 2008 when they were winning championships and, really winning, doing good. Come to see it again, kind of this program turning around finally, it's kind of brings back that nostalgic feeling of them just winning. You love that. I always love you when your school is winning. And, this is stuff you love to see.
True. Earlier, Gabriel was talking about our basketball team, and they win often, but go ahead.
At what cost?
Yeah.
I guess our basketball team's in some hot water with the NCAA. I guess in the past we've used bribes and I guess other illegal methods to try and get players and things to work out in our favor, which means that we may or may not be able to play in March Madness for the next couple of years. I don't know too much about it. I do know that it's speculation. Talking to a lot of the players who are on the team, they don't really know if it's going to happen or not, but I sure hope it doesn't. Hope we learned our lesson, but I hope we win, but not at the cost of cheating.
Yeah, for sure.
I just think it's so crazy that college sports is this important to everybody, and it may be just because I'm not a sports person, but these players are expected to go to school and play, and they don't even they don't get paid.
No, they don't get paid.
Yeah, they don't get paid, but I feel like the university is kind of exploiting their bodies, and
exactly.
Yeah, so I like to see our school win, but I feel like it's just a reality check for them. Y'all doing too much.
Yeah, the NCAA definitely needs to start allowing players to be able to get paid. I know they just passed a bill over in California to try and push that to where they can start getting paid. Hopefully that's something that's going to eventually happen because a lot of people they're making a lot of money for schools, and the NCAA, they're generating a lot of money from student athletes, and it's about time they, cut that check.
Definitely agree with that. To jump into our next topic, we're going to talk about homecoming, what homecoming means and just the significance it has to the Black community. I'm not going to lie, when I went to high school and even recently in college, I never knew what homecoming really stood for, but basically it's just so the alumni can come back and see where the institution is and celebrate the accomplishments of the institution and just the accomplishments of them. And I feel like this is very important to the Black community because it's sometimes I be going to school and I'm I don't even know why I'm here, bro. I got several other options that I can do, but when you get to see, people who look like you that come back and are successful, I think that that's very empowering for Black students.
Yeah, definitely. Even though we're not even into the HBCU part of the topic yet, just having just remembering what it was like in Arkansas when I was at UAPB at HBCU. The homecoming was literally the highlight of the entire school year. People, literally events all week. People coming back from wherever they are around the world, the country, just to come back, share those college memories they had, and just enjoy the moment, and also watch good football, just good vibes around, and just to see them all come back and give back to the community or to the school and actually stand for something and actually lead by example is also good to see as well.
Wow, I didn't even know you were from a HBCU. That's crazy.
Really?
No, I did not. I did not know that. But I think that does tie into just like the overall growth of the campus. Like they get to come back because they were here at a times where it wasn't as equal on campus, and they get to see like Black students running major organizations, and I know that makes them very happy. The next topic that we're going to get into is involving music, and it's involving Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Oh man.
This is just a funny topic to me because he rose to fame as a gang member, and currently, he went to jail. And basically, he was a member of the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods. That's a goofy name, but anyway. And now he's like snitching on everybody, like telling everybody's business who's a part of it. He recently said Cardi B was a part of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said Cardi B
I didn't
was.
hear that.
And she,
I was seeing that they said some transcripts didn't say he said that, but I'm not sure. I haven't really looked into it, but I know that's what I've seen.
she posted something on her page, like on her Instagram, when like the allegations was coming out, and she posted that meme from Keke Palmer, and she's like, I don't know who this man is. So like, it's just been word that he was talking about Cardi B and several other people, but
Jim Jones.
yeah, and I just think it's crazy because Remy Ma said this in an interview. She was saying like, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Like you were in a drug trafficking enterprise. So like you knew what you were doing was wrong. So like just because you got caught, now you want to like tell on everybody else so you don't get as much time. So I agree with Remy Ma on that. Like if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Or like how about just not do crime at all? But
Right. I mean, I feel like some people can kind of see where you're coming from because these people, the same people he was supposed to rose to fame with, they kidnapped him and did all this type of stuff to him. But he's snitching because he wants to be with his family. But at the same time, like she was saying, you don't do the crime if you can't do the time. So like he was really tripping, like just trying to be a part of this whole organization that was a legal activity, and he's a full-time rapper making a lot of money, and he just chose to go down in the wrong path continuously after already being famous and like making a lot of money. Like, what's the point of doing drugs and selling drugs if you're already rich? Like, I don't really understand that, but at the same time, like, you gotta pay for still what he already had done. So
wow, that is like a very good point. There is no point of doing things of that sort when you have money, but I guess he's selling an image.
right.
And that's really one of the reasons why I thought he was goofy from the jump. Like, he would say the N-word a lot.
Right.
And I believe that I don't think he's Black. His name is, his real name is Daniel Hernandez, okay? Like,
I don't hear nothing.
Yeah,
you need African American related to that.
Yeah, like you need to learn your place, and you kind of got to take a step back and like really think about what you're selling because there's consequences for your actions. The next topic that we have for cultural news is New York Fashion Week. I know it's a lot of guys in here, so y'all probably don't know much about New York Fashion Week, but I wanted to get everybody's input. Even Jada's about Instagram making anyone a model, because recently there have been Instagram models walking the runway, and a lot of people are upset because they look goofy, they don't know what they're doing, they don't know how to walk, but they're getting the opportunity just because they have Instagram clout. So like, how do y'all feel about that?
Personally, I feel like since they have the Instagram clout, that's why people want them to walk in their shows. It's more attention, it's more money. I don't think they really care so much about the fact that they can't model, because a lot of Instagram models do have plastic surgery bodies. I'll just put it like that. So I feel as if that doesn't really fit the criteria of a model, but it's definitely just for more money, more attention.
I agree. Like, I feel as though some of these like walking shows are like, Pretty Little Thing. That's literally like an Instagram baddie company. Like, they make it for Instagram models. So, of course, they're going to have Instagram models walking. But I do also see, like, the other side of it. There's real models that, like, have put in time, that have perfected a walk and it's like y'all up here doing whatever. So I can see how, old heads that's been in the game, like, okay, what are y'all actually doing? But I mean, at the same time, you got to think about the type of world that we in. Everything revolves around, like, social media campaigning. So I can see both sides of the argument. Did any of the guys have anything to say about that?
I actually did see one of the girls walk on Twitter. I seen a little video, and they were clowning her. It was hilarious to see, too, because, like, you could tell she didn't know what she was doing. Growing up, I grew up with sisters and my mom. They always were watching America's Next Top Model, and I don't remember the girls from Next Top Model walking down the aisle like that, or the runway, wherever it's called. But it was just kind of funny to see that, like basically what they were saying.
I think it's interesting to see how the beauty standards have changed over time, just even in the last 10 and 15 years. I feel like a lot of the models who went through the modeling process, I feel like they had a much different beauty standard back then. So the walk is going to be different. Things are going to be different just because things have changed. So I don't know if you should necessarily discriminate against the Instagram models now because they fit a different beauty standard. But I think that you should just let them do their thing, and that's sort of my little touch on that.
I feel it from all aspects. Now we're going to get into the topic of the month, which is PWIs. I was going to say versus, but I don't like that. So, we're just going to say comparing between HBCUs. So, Jada and Josh here are going to be our experts on what is it like transferring from an HBCU to a predominantly white institution.
For me personally, transferring from HBCU to PWI, it gave me a real different perspective on just a lot of things. First of all, there's being here at KU is a lot more resources involved because HBCUs are incredibly underfunded. At least most of them are, and like I was saying, more opportunities, and it was just the right choice for me personally to make that change. I'll go ahead and let Jada talk about her perspective on that.
I definitely transferred because of resources. I actually really do like Hampton. I like HBCUs, but they are very underfunded. And when I came here, I was very surprised. Like, the whole town is into the school, and that's very different to me. And I don't know.
But yeah, like it was just like when I first made the transfer, I was in a sense of like uncomfortably comfortable, if that makes any sense. First I was in Arkansas. I was 7 hours away. I didn't really have too many family around, so it just gave me like, I don't know, like just that far away from home feeling, and I wasn't really in a good space. So me coming home, being closer to home, which I'm from Kansas City, so like being in Lawrence isn't that far at all. It just kind of changed my perspective on a lot of things, and I don't know. It was just more comfortable for me. It made me a lot more comfortable being here.
What I know a lot of people talk about, not even just like transferring. I don't know why I keep saying transform, but whatever. From an HBCU to a PWI, just like people who go to a PWI and is a person of color, they experience culture shock. Did that happen, with you guys when like you go from being in a classroom where all, if not, everyone looks like you in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
But then you go into, like, you're the only person of color in your classroom. Like, was that hard for you guys?
Yeah, honestly, for me, it was, because I've grown up around black people my entire life, like, literally all the way up until high school. So me coming to KU was my first, like, being around a lot of white people at once, like, in classroom settings and stuff like that, just being around the only black person in the room. It definitely gave me, like, type of culture shock. It was different. And it's something I, adjusted to. But it's really kind of wore off. It's not that bad now, but, maybe Jada has something that she want to say about that.
I definitely experienced culture shock. When I first got here, I'm not going to lie, I felt very small. I was a little intimidated. I've never been surrounded by so many people who didn't look like me. I went to an all-black high school. I went to an all-black college. Like, I was not used to it. Even my professors were black at Hampton, so that was different for me, too. I had to think of, like, maybe a new way to approach them, to even talk to them. I was definitely a little nervous, too. But honestly, since I connected with the black community a little bit here and I've started making friends, it doesn't feel like that anymore.
That's amazing. I can see why someone would pick, a HBCU just because I think that that's amazing. Where Jada was saying like the majority of her professors were black. Like that's empowering to have someone who looks like you teaching you.
Right.
Same with Josh. I came to the University of Kansas just because it was close to home, and I feel like since we are going to college to be able to get into a good career, you have to learn how to communicate with people who don't look like you. You have to learn to be in an environment where you might be the only black person. So I feel like a PWI puts you into that early so it won't be a culture shock when you're already in your career. So, I feel like that's a good thing about a PWI. But I feel like the debate where we're like, you need to go to an HBCU, like, all over Twitter, or like, it's like they're like HBCUs, not all of them, but a lot of them feel like, they have to like prove something to say, all HBCUs aren't bad. Like, I feel like we should just kind of like dead that and just be like, pick the best school that fits you. Like you shouldn't make somebody feel bad for going to an all-white institution, and you not all white but predominantly white, and you shouldn't make somebody feel bad for going to a HBCU.
Right, because at the same time, we all got one goal, and that's to get a degree or degrees and move on with our life and, do whatever we plan to do after college. And that's what our main goal is. Despite where we go to school at, we still, as black people, have the goal of trying to graduate, get to the money. That's what we all trying to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to bounce off of what Alana said and ask the two of you a question. Did you all in any way, shape, or form feel pressured to go to an HBCU? Like you wanted to impress your family, or, you wanted to feel more black per se? Or was there any pressure, or was it just your own choice? Or was it scholarships? What was it?
Ultimately, it was my own choice. Being in Kaufman Scholars, I was a Kaufman Scholar all the way since I was in middle school, but I literally left the program my senior year of high school right before I graduated and went off to college. I left the program because they were limiting my choices of where I could go to school, and I felt that a HBCU was necessary in my life, and just to get the experience for foremost, and just to try something different. A lot of people that I went to high school with went off to PWIs, but I was in the band too, so I ended up having a full tuition scholarship to UAPB to be in the band there, and that's what reason why, since I had that full tuition scholarship, is the reason why I left Kaufman Scholars Program to branch off and to do something I wanted to do and not something I feel like I was forced to do or go to a different school.
Wow.
I chose a HBCU just based off personal preference. I'm actually very happy I went because they're like two completely different experiences. And I feel like the fact that I did go helped me get a different experience and a feel for myself that I wouldn't have got if I went to a PWI. And that's something, well, I should say for 4 years. That's something that my parents expressed to me. And they told me, if you do want to leave, I understand. But they told me I needed to go just for the experience. And I understand that now.
Interesting.
The experience is unmatched, by the way.
Yeah.
Like it's
so different,
and so like it's one of a kind. I promise. It's just so different, and it's for the most part, everyone like back at UAPB, everyone was really friendly. You made a lot of friends. Like literally everyone on campus. It's not as big as University of Kansas, or KU. I shouldn't say the full name, but whatever. But yeah, it was like everyone was so close and everyone knew each other. Everyone was friends, and they were really united. And I like that the most. Even though the resources we had broke down, stuff like it was still like the experiences what mattered the most was with the people you were around. And so I feel like that stood out more than what would the limited resource that we had.
I definitely feel like, I'll be watching A Different World and I'll be seeing like all their experiences, and I just think like that is a great experience to get. I wish I could have got that experience, like just having, it feels like you guys were connected like a family, and that's something I see a lot from people who go to HBCUs, and it's something that we still try to do here at KU, try to bring the black community together, of course, but, just having everyone around you, I do feel like that's a great experience. Now we're going to get into advice, and Jada, feel free to, come into these questions too. You can answer them too. And also, just as an announcement, don't forget to send in advice question, guys. We want to help you guys. We want you guys to feel connected to Black Talk. The first question is, how do we stay motivated as a first-generation student?
Well, I'm not a first-generation student, so I don't know if I'd be the best person, but how do I stay motivated as a college student? I always keep everything that I do focused on the long term. I know that a lot of what society likes to tell you is that the best things are in the short term, and that's not the case. Sometimes you have to do hard things. So I just try to keep my mind focused on my end goal or things that I want to do later on in life.
Yeah.
I am a first-generation student, and I guess, like, the reason to stay motivated is a little bit harder, I guess, for other students is because you didn't have someone in your household to teach you how to study or, like, teach you how to push through college. Of course, they can give inspirational words, but they don't know exactly what you're going through. So I would say just surround yourself with people who do know what you're going through. Surround yourself with other students who are going to motivate you to stay into your studies or, putting school first. You have to, like, keep your circle with people who want you to do better. So that's something that I do. I always surround myself with people who, encourage me to stay in school, or, hey, you want to have a study session, like, keep people around you to keep you motivated. That's what I've done so far.
Yeah.
And the next one is, how do we build study habits?
Okay, so I am not good with study habits at all. Like, I hate studying. But one thing I got myself in the habit of doing is when I get home from class, whatever I learned in class that day, I'm going to reread it. If I missed a couple notes or didn't get everything she said, I'm going to re-go through the PowerPoint, read my book. I just make it a habit so that when a test does come, I don't have to study and cram everything in. Like, I already know things.
With me, when it comes to studying, I just try to put, like, all my priorities first, and then I sort of, like, reward myself at the end when I'm done with everything. So I'm like, okay, I got to get this done so I can do this. That's what I've been doing recently. So, like, I'll get all my homework done, like, all of it. And then I'm like, okay, let me binge watch and watch something on Netflix, like, to make me feel better. So that's kind of what I do. I also like crossing things off of a list, like, okay, you got that done. Check. Like, that makes me feel good. And also just, like, having a set study place, I feel is very helpful, because then when you go to that place, your mind is like, okay, I'm here to study. I feel like some people like study in areas where you can't really focus, or, like, you're studying in bed, which is not good, because then when it's time to go to bed, your brain is not ready to go to sleep because you were just doing work in your bed. So, like, I would, like, pick a specific study area that you go to at a set time that's a part of your schedule, so it becomes a habit. It becomes something that's just natural for you.
Yeah, it kind of piggyback off what both of them just said. Picking a time just out the day just to study, even if it's just 30 minutes, an hour, just spread that out throughout the week, and, just kind of be considerate about what everything else you have to do during the day. Kind of just make a time throughout the day, each day of the week, or whether it's a few days a week, just kind of, narrow it out through that way.
One bit of advice that I have is, whenever you're studying or doing homework or you want to procrastinate, you have to give yourself little rewards throughout the process, or else you're just going to get bored. It's not you, it's just how we're wired as people. If you're working on a long paper, after this many pages of writing the paper, I'm going to go to the gym because that's what I like to do. I'm going to go ball out, hoot with some friends. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do this. And then after this many pages, I'm going to go get a shake from Five Guys or wherever it is. Mm-hmm. Give yourself little rewards, and it'll make the studying, paper writing process so much more fun and so much more feasible.
Okay, and we have another question. It says, how do you manage your academic and social life? Y'all, sometimes I feel like I don't even have a social life.
I feel the same way.
But I just feel like you can't overwhelm yourself. That's the thing. Like, yes, school is important, and you should always have a steady, handle around school. But you have to also give yourself time to relax and do things that you like or do fun things with your friends. So I feel like really you just have to have a healthy balance. Do not let one overcome the other. But you can't always be like, okay, no, I can't go out because I got to do this. Manage your time to where you have time to go out. So that would be my advice for that.
Yeah, and I feel like since maybe it's because I'm older, I just feel like going out and going to parties or going out to the club or the bar, that's just not something that's for me. If that's something you're like and but you still feel like like they say, reward yourself, even though if maybe that's something that you're not into or just don't want to do, just give it a try. Give it damn, I'm losing my train of thought. My bad.
You good. I was saying the same thing. Like, a social life technically doesn't have to mean like go to a party. I'm not gonna lie. This year, y'all, I don't want to go to no part. Like, the party scene. Like, I like going to parties sometimes, but like just like going home. That's social. You're surrounding yourself with people, with family, people that care about you, people that lift you up. Take that time to go home for a weekend. Have your academics done before you go. Or if anything, go home and do your homework at home where it's a more peaceful environment and you're not like super stressed. That's recently what I did this weekend. So like I said, just give yourself time to take mental breaks because the worst thing you can do is get overwhelmed. And then you feel like you can't do any of your academic work at all. So that's what I don't advise, people to do. But to get back to the PWI and HBCU conversation, one of the main things that people have been talking about is that the PWI gives you a chance to have a quote-unquote real life experience. So I would like to ask Josh and Jada, how do you guys feel about that when people say, a PWI gives you more of a real life experience?
I think that HBCUs do too. There's diversity within Black people. I would say that for sure. When I got to Hampton, I met people and I really used to ask them, where are you from? Where did you come from? Just based off the way that they talked, they dressed, the way that they act. Like, you have to understand yourself before you can understand other people. And
Hallelujah.
And I feel like when you go surround yourself with different types of Black people, it gives you a better understanding of how to go about talking and interacting with different people. I don't think I was put at a disadvantage from going to Hampton first, then coming here. If anything, it helped me.
Yeah, I agree. And like she said, like, not all Black people are the same. People feel like, oh, just because you go to HBCU, you're limited to, meeting new types of people and you're only going to run into the same type of Black people. That is very not true. Like, when I went to UAPB, and I'm sure she could say the same for Hampton, there was so many different types of just people in general and what they are interested in and what the things they do, just what they like to do, things they're interested in. And it's definitely a lot of diversity involved. But as far as saying that a PWI is the only way you can get a real college experience, I feel like that is so false. It's all about what you take out of it and at the end of it. It's not necessarily just where you go to school. It's more like how you end up, the end results for you as far as what you did in college.
Wow, y'all making me want to go to a HBCU for real. Like, I love what Jada said. Like, to be able to connect with other people, you have to understand yourself first, and like that is so very true with all aspects in life. Relationship, friendships, everything. You have to know yourself to be able to connect. So I think that that's very strong. And I just want to ask, everybody in the room, like, how does the debate make you feel just in general? Like, what are your how does it make you feel how, that people are trying to push one thing ahead of another? Like, how does that make you feel about your decision that you made?
Me personally, it makes me feel like it's a form of gatekeeping of success. I feel like a lot of people, they have their own internal reasons for doing things and they want to try and push that off onto other people. So if you don't go to an HBCU, then what is your success as a Black person? I feel like I just feel like it's mentally limiting towards a lot of students who might have a lot of great opportunities elsewhere, and I don't think it's productive to the black community, at all. So
It's just another way to divide ourselves too. Like, it's really unnecessary, in my opinion, at least.
I don't think the debate is fair. I really think it's just another way to make a PWI seem better. I feel like the schools, they're just completely different. Like, it's honestly not even a comparison because at the end of the day, yes, you are learning, but the experience that you go through, your everyday life is going to be completely different.
I agree. I agree. There's no reason to compare. Everybody makes decisions for themselves, and you can see just with having Jada and Josh here, like they went to both schools. They're currently like going to a different school right now, and they can say positive things about both. So there's no reason to compare. We should just lift each other up and celebrate going to college in general because that's a great accomplishment. Like being like, okay, I want to go further my education. That's a great thing to do, so you shouldn't be judged on what school you decide to do that with.
Right.
And now we're going to get into some announcements. We actually have quite a few for you guys. We didn't have as many in the first episode, but now we have a lot. So make sure you guys are going to these events. We want to see your beautiful faces. Just to start off, be sure to be on the lookout for the Alpha Kappa Alpha Fall International Ski Week. The events will be held from October 6th until the 12th. And we're starting with Soulful Sunday. We about to get some Jesus. Y'all know I love Jesus. We will be at Velocity Church at 10 a.m. on Sunday. Also, man, be sure to come out for the Alpha Kappa Alpha Mr. Ivy League pageant. The informational will be on October 17th. Keep up with the rest of our events. It'll be on our social media at Delta Chapter, aka. So all you men, come out, y'all. We trying to showcase y'all. Try to get some girls too, okay? Now I'll have Gabriel read the next one.
make sure you're on the lookout for the National Society of Black Engineers. They will be having 4 events this month. You can go out to their movie night with iHawk on October 11th, a chili cook-off on October 18th, the iHawkathon on October 24th through the 25th, and a trunk or treat October 31st. For any updates or any questions, go ahead and follow their social media at KU_NSBE. Once again, that's at KU_NSBE.
First, we'll be having a meet and greet on October 11th. For updates, their social media is at KU First Gen, KUFIRSTGEN.
And finally, BSU will be having fundraisers at Jefferson's on the 10th of October and Chipotle on the 23rd. Ooh, I love Chipotle as well. Be sure to also come out to our second General Assembly on October 7th. Those are always really fun because you get to see all of the Black community come together. And, of course, the BSU Homecoming Pageant will be held October 19th at 5 p.m. in the Woodrum Auditorium. You can keep up with us at BSU Kansas. That is BSU Kansas. And just make sure you guys come to the Homecoming Pageant. It's always really fun, and you get to see like different people's talents here on campus, so make sure you show your support with that.
Homecoming week is October 19th through the 26th, so please be sure to keep up with all of your organizations to find out what homecoming events will be there. And Late Night Fog is tomorrow, October 4th, so make sure you're there.
Wow, I did not even know Late Night
I
in
didn't
the
know that either.
Wow, see, this is why you got to keep up with your events, children. But just be sure to continue to support all of the Black organizations here on campus. That is very important to us. And if you are a Black organization here on campus, make sure you send us your events so we can promote them. And I also just want to clarify that FIRST is for first-generation students. And I know that was a question that we had today. So if you wanted to get connected with more first-generation students, make sure you go follow their social media at KU First Gen. And we have come to the end of our podcast today. Make sure you guys keep up with us and share us on everything. My name is Alana Washington, and you can follow me on Instagram at Alana Lovely.
My name is Gabriel Bright. You can follow me on Snapchat, gbright001. Hit me up, ask me any questions. I'd be more than happy to talk to you.
And I'm Josh Wakes, so you can follow me on any social media at Josh from the 5, and that's the number 5.
I'm Jada Robinson, and you can follow me on Instagram at _Queen Jada.
See you next episode.